Right. Professor Osama, I think you are the world expert, and you're the great nutritionist as well as an endocrinologist. So I just want to add to that in my presentation, and there was a study that has been done on Ramadan type fasting, and in that study from Turkey, they saw a little bit of a difference in weight loss between men and women. So men lost, I think, about 2.7% versus women who lost about 1.5%. But studies like that, it's not huge numbers. I'm not sure if you can actually make a lot of say about it. You can't really generalize it necessarily. But I guess meta-analyses can answer that, and I know meta-analyses have been done. I know Dr. Moez, who again might be in the audience, has been party to one of those meta-analyses. So women and men, in terms of their appetite changes during the Ramadan fasting, also they seem to be acting differently, at least in one study that's been shown, and that's been in previous DAR guidelines as well, as something that we refer to. So there seems to be some kind of difference between men and women, whereas men do not adapt. I think women tend to adapt towards the end of Ramadan to the appetite changes. So there seem to be some gender differences between the two, but how much you can read into that right now, I'm not really sure.
A question from Professor Ahmad Hassoun. Any possible study on the changes in microbiota in fasting Ramadan and proper dietary regimen like your recommendation? I think this is addressed to Professor Osama.
Yes, Dr. Hassoun, that's absolutely right. Microbiota changes significantly during Ramadan. Or I would say timed fasting, because it was not specifically studied in Ramadan, or maybe it had been studied, but I don't know. But we know that timed fasting or intermittent fasting can change significantly the microflora and the microbiota in general and all the colonies. And you are giving a significant amount or duration of rest for your GIT, which replenish a lot of good bacteria flora.
Professor Osama, if I may, I mean, I think first of all, it's very nice to see your face after all this time, I have to say. I just wanted to say that, so within 2 to 4 days of changing the diet, gut microflora seems to change. So I think that's something that I came across. So that's worth remembering. Within, really that quickly, gut microflora can actually change. It reaches its peak around 2 to 4 days after you change your dietary regimen.
Yeah, I agree, Dr. Lesson, and every day we discover more and more benefit from fasting, and actually now there is a new era of science about what's called fasting mimicking diet. So it is basically a diet that doesn't stimulate the nutrient pathway and doesn't generate increase in IGF-1, and they are using them now to a great extent in cancer, in some autoimmune diseases, and also for longevity. And as I know, it is in front of the FDA right now for approval to be used for certain cases of cancer. So it's very, very important, and actually studies showed marked improvement in metabolic and cardiovascular outcomes using that technique. So people who are fasting 2 days per week, or they are fasting Ramadan, or they fasting consecutive 5 days, this can be very, very helpful. And if they repeat it every month, it will be of tremendous help.
Well, there's another 3 questions for the speakers, but due to the limited time, I only choose 1 question: the effects of intermittent fasting on immunity. Professor Osama, Professor Nader.
Yeah. Well, the major issue when water fasting was evaluated initially is that immunity goes down. So absolute fasting or water fasting is way down. But giving a nutrient in the 500, 700, especially if you supplement it with some vitamins, the immunity is supported to a great extent. In the fasting mimicking diet, they evaluated immunity and found the T helper cells and the T killer cells are active. So that's why you get some benefit in cancer and similar. So it is not drastic, and I think it is, as long as it is not absolute fasting, it is very good.
Yeah, I think that's very interesting. There's actually one study that I think I included as a last slide in my presentation. I might not have shown it, but they specifically looked at not just as weight loss, but also specifically looked at the studies of intermittent fasting in multiple sclerosis. So in multiple sclerosis, intermittent fasting has been shown to actually improve things.
Yeah, Dr. Lesson, that's absolutely right. Plus, many other autoimmune diseases that have been, tested in celiac disease. It had been tested in lateral sclerosis, I believe, and also I could remember 2 or 3 autoimmune diseases, and they found they are very effective. And of course, irritable bowel syndrome.
As we are limited, have limited time, I think we have to go to the next session. If Professor Hassanin allow me to summarize and brief the 3 different lectures. The first one was by Professor Ala. He stressed on the risk of hypoglycemia in chronic kidney disease patient and when fasting Ramadan, and stressed on a restriction of fasting in patients from grade 3 to 5 chronic renal disease. Professor Nader speak about the benefits of intermittent fasting versus Ramadan fasting. And finally, the good news came from Professor Osama Hamdi. You can now not just doing a repeller by fasting Ramadan, you reshape your body, and this is good news for ladies, reshape your body and lose weight during Ramadan, following the techniques of nutrition provided by Professor Osama Hamdi. And thank you all for speakers. Thank you for my co-chairman, Professor Walid Al-Dahi, and Professor Muhammad Hassanin, of course. Thank you.